The tires crunch softly over fresh snow as I pull into my parents' driveway, flakes drifting lazily across the white colonial house in suburban Arvada. December in Denver always feels like living inside a snow globe, beautiful, frozen, and a little suffocating. It's the same kind of beauty that's defined every Matthews family Christmas, polished, predictable, and just cold enough to sting. My fingers tremble slightly as I adjust my lipstick in the rear-view mirror. Just tell them about the promotion, I remind myself. Creative director at 31. They can't possibly downplay that. I've practiced those words all week. In the trunk, perfectly wrapped gifts sit in neat stacks, each chosen with painstaking care. Beneath them lies something far more personal, a small velvet box tucked inside my purse, its presence heavy and thrilling all at once. Daniel's ring. I bought it on an installment plan I can barely afford, but some things are worth the sacrifice. The front door opens before I even reach it. Dad stands there, smiling in that distracted way of his, half present, half somewhere behind him where Mom is undoubtedly orchestrating chaos. "Holly, you made it," he says warmly, pulling me into a quick hug that smells like pine and Old Spice. Before I can answer, Mom appears in the doorway. Her eyes sweep over me like searchlights, pausing only to assess. "That green dress really washes you out, dear," she says, skipping the hello. "I wish you'd worn the navy one I bought for your birthday." I swallow the familiar burn in my throat and manage a tight smile. "Merry Christmas to you too, Mom." The living room looks exactly the same as it has my whole life, a museum of Christmases past, every garland, ornament, and framed photo frozen in time. Cousin Jim and his wife occupy the love seat. Uncle Ray lounges by the fireplace with his usual glass of whiskey, and Grandma Elinor sits regally in her armchair, her face lighting up when she sees me. "There's my Holly," she says, stretching out a wrinkled hand. I start toward her, but my brother intercepts like clockwork, commanding the center of the room. "Just locked down financing for the North Office expansion," Ethan announces proudly, not even glancing at me. "Orthopedic surgery's about to dominate Colorado's market next year." And right on cue, his wife Chloe appears, her designer handbag swinging like a trophy. Speaking of success, she adds with a bright smile, "I was just promoted. Senior associate at Bergman and Walsh. Youngest female in firm history." She passes out business cards as if performing communion. I quietly set my handmade scrapbook on the coffee table. Weeks of effort, gathering family photos, writing captions, preserving memories. Mom glances at it, frowns faintly, and pushes it aside to make space for Ethan's medical journal. From across the room, Grandma catches my eye and gives the smallest shake of her head. She sees everything, she always has, a memory surfaces uninvited. I'm 10 years old, standing in my room while Mom points to Ethan straight. "A report card. Why can't you be more like your brother?" she says, her disappointment slicing sharper than any scolding. Then graduation day flashes by. My name echoing across the auditorium as I walk the stage with honors in marketing and design. The applause fades beneath Mom's excited whisper to her friend. "Ethan just got his medical school acceptance this morning." College comes next, my degree in hand, pride in my chest, until Dad's quiet words dim it. "Marketing isn't a real career, honey, but it'll do until you find something stable." That's how it always started. Small comments, small withdrawals. Then came the first real ask, a call during the coldest February on record. "The furnace broke, sweetheart. We're a little short this month." I split my first paycheck to cover it. After that, it became a rhythm. Mom in her car, voice low so Dad wouldn't hear. "Don't tell anyone about this. It would embarrass him." Another check, another quiet sacrifice. Back in the present, Dad is carving the turkey with the precision of a surgeon. Perfect uniform slices fall onto delicate china as conversation buzzes around the table. I stare at my nearly empty wine glass, my heart thudding with something that isn't quite fear. I have news. I begin softly. Daniel and I are engaged. The words hang like snowflakes in still air. Only Grandma reacts, her frail hands clapping, a proud smile warming her lined face. Everyone else sits frozen. Mom sets her wine down with exaggerated care. "Well," she says finally, voice sharp enough to cut crystal, "I suppose someone had to take you. You've always been the least useful of the bunch." The room goes silent. Ethan stares at his plate. Chloe inspects her nails. Dad's carving knife stills midair. Normally, this is where I'd excuse myself, hide in the guest bathroom, cry in private. But this time the tears don't come. Something steadier, colder, and strangely freeing takes their place. My phone lies beside my plate. I unlock it, scrolling through months of bank transactions. The glow of the screen paints my face blue as Mom's eyes narrow. Dad notices my posture change, how I sit taller, voice level when I finally speak. "Then stop calling me when you need money," I say. The silence deepens until even the fireplace seems to quiet. I can feel the entire family's foundation shifting, like a fault line cracking open. Grandma's smile widens slightly, proud and knowing. Every stunned face. I keep my tone calm, conversational. "Let's look at a few numbers, shall we?" I scroll. December 3rd, $150 to Matthews Leasing. "That was for your Lexus, right, Mom?" Her jaw tightens. November 15th, $2, $750 for a deductible. I glance at Dad. "Your knee surgery. You were worried about meeting it before your end." His eyes drop to his plate. October 2nd, $3, $200. I turn toward Chloe. "Your bar, exam prep. The premium package, if I recall." Her cheeks flush pink. "And August 24th, $4, $500 wire transfer." My gaze meets Ethan's. "Those lingering student loans you couldn't clear for your practice loan." Grandma's weathered hand rests gently over mine. Her touch grounds me. 3 years of transactions. I continue. $42,000 and not a single repayment. Mom's glass trembles dangerously close to spilling. "Families help each other," she says defensively. "That's what we do." "No," I reply evenly. "Families support each other." This wasn't support. It was manipulation. Chloe snaps, voice sharp. "You could have said no, you know. No one forced you." I let out a small, humorless laugh. True, no one forced me, just emotional guilt and the hope of finally being good enough for you. Mom's eyes narrow. "What are you implying?" "I'm not implying anything," I answer. "I'm stating facts. My lease renewal depends on the bonus I saved. The same bonus you asked for last week for your bathroom remodel." Dad looks at Mom, confusion giving way to realization. "Daniel and I are taking MBA courses at night." I continue. "His teaching salary barely covers our expenses. This engagement ring." I hold up my hand, the diamond catching the candlelight. "It's on an installment plan, because every time I save, one of you has an emergency." Mom slams her palm on the table. "How dare you humiliate us?" I meet her glare without flinching. "Humiliate you? I've supported this family for years while being treated like I'm worthless." My voice softens, steady. "All I ever wanted was to feel valued, but my worth was never yours to give." I close the banking app and pick up my purse. The Bank of Holly, I declare, is officially closed. For the first time that night, I smile. From across the table, Grandma whispers, "Finally." And I stand quietly without drama or tears, just the quiet dignity of a woman walking away from a story she's outgrown. The front door clicks shut behind me, gentle as snowfall. Outside, The driveway lies under a clean white sheet, my footsteps stitching a path back to the car. The air bites at my cheeks, crisp and honest in a way our dining room never is. Behind me, shoes crunch on ice. Dad hurries after me, cardigan no match for December. Holly, wait. He calls, breath fogging in the cold. Through the window, I catch a flash of Grandma's hand gripping Mom's arm, steady and firm. Inside, the entire family poses around a half-carved turkey-like figures in a snow globe, sealed, staged, unmoving. My phone buzzes in my pocket. Cousin Laura, I saw everything. Call me tomorrow. I nod to no one and unlock my car. We'll talk later, Dad. I say, not unkindly, just, not tonight. The drive home is the quietest kind of relief. No tears, no shaky hands, just the steady rhythm of wipers sweeping a clean arc across the windshield. For the first time in years, I didn't fold. The feeling is unfamiliar, a new muscle flexing for the very first time. Daniel opens the apartment door before I reach for the knob. His eyes read my face like a page he's memorized. On the counter, a bottle of wine breathes beside 2 glasses. Your mom called, he says, easing my coat from my shoulders. 3 times I let it ring. I take my phone out, swipe notifications off like killing a switch. First peaceful Christmas night in forever. I murmur, and his teacher's sweater scratches warmly against my cheek as he pulls me in. A text from Rebecca flashes one last time before the screen goes dark. Guest room ready if you need it. Proud of you. A later, Daniel sleeps, and I lie awake staring at the ceiling's quiet geometry. My holiday bonus sits undisturbed in savings. The weight of what fractured tonight settles over me. Sober, bittersweet, survivable. Somewhere between loss and freedom, the room fills with a small, steady peace. The bank of Holly is closed, and for once, I'm keeping what I earn. 2 mornings later, my phone pings at 6:43 a.m. from Margaret Matthews. The subject line slices more than it says, concerning Holly's betrayal. I scan the CC list, extended family, friends, even a handful of Ethan's colleagues. Her email is a neat, careful wound. My shocking behavior, my rejection of family values, the grand total of their disappointment dressed as concern. Each sentence stings like a paper cut. Tiny, mean, effective. Daniel curls an arm around my waist and speaks into my hair. We knew this part was coming. He reminds me, remember what Dr. Levinson said. Other people's reactions aren't your responsibility. The phone lights again. Chloe this time. I answer, her voice splinters perfectly on cue. How could you do this, Holly? Mom can barely get out of bed. I took a personal day. She keeps asking what she did wrong. She lowers her voice to a tremor. Everyone's shocked you abandoned us. That night, Dad calls. The ringtone yanks me from half. Sleep at 11:37 p.m. He sounds smaller somehow, like he's calling from the bottom of a well. Your mother doesn't know I'm calling, he says. She's not taking this well. I just want to understand what happened. You've always been our rock. The answer sits right there, simple as a sum I never wanted to show him. I wasn't your rock, I think, throat tight. I was your ATM. Later that week, my phone lights up again, this time with something that makes my heart twist for entirely different reasons. Denver Business Journal. Matthews named youngest creative director at Altitude Marketing. The headline stares back at me like a stranger saying my name with pride. The article praises my innovative vision and remarkable rise in client retention. My work inbox fills with congratulations, yet my personal email overflows with family accusations, each message another tug back toward the chaos I left behind. Daniel slides a printed spreadsheet across our kitchen table that evening, his expression calm but purposeful. You should see this, he says. We've just come back from a meeting with his financial advisor, an entire conversation about possibilities I didn't even know I had before cutting off my family's endless siphon. What am I looking at? I ask. Every loan you've given them in the last 3 years. He replies, tapping the bottom of the sheet. Dates, reasons, amounts. I stare at the total. $42,635. A number both too big and too small. Too big to ignore, too small to justify the exhaustion it bought me. It could have been a down payment on a home, an investment, or simply peace of mind. Instead, it became silence I had to buy to keep the peace. When Cousin Laura's wedding invitation arrives a few days later, I check the small box next to regretfully unable to attend. The click of my mouse feels like a personal declaration of independence. Thursday's lunch hour finds me at Copper Kettle, the cafe that feels more like sanctuary than habit. The spring sun spills through the window, warming my corner table as I review marketing briefs beside a half-eaten sandwich. My phone rests face down, an act of defiance that has started to feel like therapy. The bell above the cafe door jingles softly. I don't look up until the quiet shifts, the air thickening with familiarity. Mom. She stands there with eyes rimmed in careful redness, Chloe half a step behind her, clutching her designer handbag like armor. They've chosen the location wisely, public enough that I can't escape without spectacle. Holly, Mom begins, voice pitched just loud enough to draw attention. We need to talk. My throat tightens. I keep my tone measured. I'm on my lunch break. That's fine, she says, sliding into the seat across from me without invitation. Chloe follows, all tight smiles and trembling lips. How could you do this to your family? Mom's voice cracks with practiced fragility. After everything we've done for you. Chloe leans forward, adding her line to the performance. Dad's knee is getting worse. The doctor says he might need another procedure. Is that what you want? For him to suffer because you're being selfish? I lift my coffee cup, take a long, steady sip, and set it back down with a soft clink. The sound feels like punctuation. I love you both. I say quietly, but love doesn't mean I owe you my life savings. Mom blinks, startled, as if the script changed mid-scene. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. I interrupt. You're not here because you miss me. You're here because you miss my money. A hush settles over the nearby tables. The cafe manager, Vera, appears at my side, concern creasing her brow. Everything okay here, Miss Matthews? Your usual table's always reserved for you. I smile. Everything's fine, Vera. My mother and sister were just leaving. Mom's mouth falls open. She's never been dismissed before. Not by me, not in public. I reach into my wallet, count out cash for 3 coffees, and place the bills between us. This, I say softly, is the last bill I'll ever pay for you. They leave in silence, Chloe sniffling theatrically. As they pass the corner table, I spot Rebecca, phone angled discreetly. She gives me a tiny thumbs up before returning to her laptop. That evening, after I explain the incident to my supervisor, she updates the visitor protocol at work without hesitation. Family drama doesn't belong in the office, she says matter-of-factly. For the first time, I feel genuinely protected in a professional space. Fridays become my standing lunch dates with Grandma Aliner, over buttered rolls and hot soup. She grins with quiet pride. I've waited 30 years to see you stand tall, sweetheart, she says. Your grandfather would be over the moon. The world outside the Matthews family bubble starts to feel bigger, full of people who don't take advantage of kindness, who cheer without conditions. Then, one Tuesday evening, a soft knock echoes through the apartment. Daniel peers through the peephole, then glances at me. It's your dad. He stands alone in the hallway, shoulders sagging under his worn canvas jacket. "Can I come in?" he asks, voice uncertain, eyes darting as if afraid of being caught. I hesitate but open the door. He sits awkwardly on the couch, hands clasped like a child called to the principal's office. "I didn't know," he says finally, "about the money, how much you were giving us. Mom never told you." He shakes his head, then reaches into the folder he brought. Inside, my old spreadsheets retrieved from Christmas night. She said these were birthday gifts. He murmurs, flipping through them. His expression crumples when he sees the total. "I'm going back to full-time engineering," he blurts. "Peterson's firm has an opening. I'll take it. It's time I did my part. Dad, you don't have to. I do." His eyes brim with tears as he takes my hand. "I failed you, Holly. I let this happen." It's the first apology I've ever heard from him that wasn't wrapped in excuses. Later that week, I start a new habit. A small notebook sits on my desk titled Family Log. Every text, every call, every boundary crossed, I record it. Screenshots, bank records, emails, all saved neatly in folders. Documentation isn't about revenge. It's about reclaiming control. Wedding planning follows, lighter than I ever expected. Deposits clear without fear. Vendors confirmed without panic. For once, every dollar I spend feels like it belongs to me. 2 names are missing from the invitation list, and the absence feels like air. Dad calls to confirm his attendance. Grandma promises her famous lemon squares. The night before the engagement party, the doorbell rings. On the security camera, I see Mom alone, clutching a manila envelope to her chest. Behind me, the apartment hums with pre-party warmth. Daniel arranges appetizers, humming softly to himself. The doorbell rings again, louder this time. I take a breath, hand on the knob, and open it just wide enough to meet her eyes. "I'm preparing for tomorrow," I say evenly. "What's this about?" She holds out the envelope with trembling hands. "I found these in the attic. Thought you might want them." Inside are photographs. Me at 6, blowing out birthday candles. At 10, clutching a science fair ribbon. At 16, wearing my first formal dress. "Remember how happy we were?" she asks, voice softening. Before all this unpleasantness, the photos pull at something deep familiar, the ache of wanting to belong. But I've learned the difference between love and leverage. "The family's falling apart, Holly," she pleads. "Your father's devastated. Ethan won't speak to us. Chloe cries every night." I stay quiet. Silence unsettles her more than anger ever did. Finally, she produces a business card from her purse. "Dr. Williamson is hosting a family counseling session next Tuesday." Everyone agreed, even Grandma. I almost laugh. "Grandma would never," I say gently. "You used that trick on me when I was 16. Said Dad approved me babysitting for the neighbors when the money went to Chloe's dance lessons." Her face tightens. "Thank you for the pictures," I say, tapping the envelope against my palm. "But this doesn't change anything. Holly, please. I appreciate you thinking of me." I interrupt, voice calm, practiced, but I need to finish preparing for tomorrow. At the mention of the engagement party she wasn't invited to, her expression falters. "Your father misses you," she says quietly. "Dad knows where I live." I reply, "He's welcome anytime." I close the door softly. No slamming, no trembling, just resolve. Leaning against it, I breathe out long and slow. No guilt, no panic, just peace. Daniel appears with a dish towel in hand. "You okay?" I hand him the envelope, courtesy of Margaret Matthews. A little stroll down memory lane. We spread the photos across the coffee table. Daniel studies them with a quiet curiosity. "Notice anything?" I shake my head. He points. "You're always on the edge. See, Christmas morning, Ethan and Chloe center stage. You're barely in the frame. High school graduation. You're half hidden behind your dad. family vacation. You're behind the camera instead of in it. The pattern becomes undeniable. He taps one last photo of me at 16 beside Mrs. Peterson's twins. Didn't you start babysitting around then? 3 nights a week, $20 a night. I recall. Daniel nods slowly. Money that went to Chloe's dance lessons. Then your parents' anniversary trip. Then everything else. The realization lands heavy but clean. I gather the photos carefully. These aren't memories. I say softly, they're evidence. Opening my laptop, I start a new photo album. Its title, The Future. Daniel kisses my forehead. Perfect first entry. The engagement party turns our small backyard into something out of a dream. String lights crisscross overhead, casting golden webs across borrowed patio furniture. The air smells of champagne and lemon squares. Grandma's contribution, of course. Daniel's teacher friends mingle easily with my marketing colleagues, laughter blending with the soft hum of music. For once, a celebration feels like it actually belongs to me. I'm guiding Grandma Elinor to her seat when I feel the mood shift, a ripple of silence threading through the chatter. My body knows before my eyes confirm it. Chloe, standing at the garden gate, her heels sinking into the grass. Ethan trails a few steps behind, shoulders stiff, expression unreadable. Family should be invited to engagement celebrations. She announces, her voice sharp enough to turn every head. She strides in like she's stepping into a courtroom instead of a party. Conversations falter, glasses pause midair. My colleagues exchange curious glances. Daniel's hand finds the small of my back. Eddie, silent support. I've got this if you need me to. He murmurs, I'm good. I whisper back. Chloe stops in front of me, chin tilted high. We're still your family, she says, her tone wavering between accusation and plea. You can't just cut us out because this isn't the place. Dad's voice interrupts from behind her. He's just entered through the same gate, looking both embarrassed and protective, but Chloe ignores him. Rebecca moves closer to me, champagne bottle in hand like a friendly weapon. The crowd senses the tension but stays still, watching. Then Daniel's father, oblivious, bless him, taps his glass for a toast. To Holly and Daniel, he says with a warm grin, teachers of history and of boundaries. Laughter ripples through the guests, soft and knowing. The irony isn't lost on anyone. Family should come first. Chloe bursts out, her voice cracking. Before careers, before fiancés, before... A voice cuts cleanly through her sentence. Grandma Elinor's family should celebrate futures. She says evenly, not sabotage them. The simplicity of her words slices through the tension like sunlight breaking through clouds. Chloe's face reddens. Thomas. She turns toward Dad desperately. Tell her this isn't right. Tell her we're leaving. Dad's eyes meet mine, really meet mine, and something shifts their recognition, maybe pride. He sets his glass down slowly. I'm staying, he says quietly. Chloe's expression crumbles, mascara streaking down her cheeks. She spins on her heel and storms out, Ethan catching her arm too late. He lingers by the gate, torn between leaving and something that looks an awful lot like regret. The party resumes, cautiously at first, then naturally. Laughter returns, though whispers replace the music for a while. Mom's absence becomes the evening's favorite mystery, but I offer no explanations. Some things are better left unsaid. As dusk settles into the edges of the yard, Ethan approaches me by the dessert table. He's alone now, hands shoved deep into his pockets. Can we talk? He asks quietly. We step aside, beneath the soft glow of string lights. He pulls an envelope from his jacket and hands it to me. I didn't realize what was happening, he says, his voice barely above a whisper. Not until Dad showed me your spreadsheet. Inside the envelope is a check made out to me for the exact amount I paid toward his student loans, plus interest. I'm also covering Dad's medical bills from now on, he adds, starting with the physical therapy for his knee. I study his face carefully, waiting for the arrogance I've known all my life, but it's gone, in its place. Shame maybe, or empathy. Why now? I ask softly. He exhales, shoulders dropping. Because I finally saw what it cost you, he says. And what it cost Dad to let it happen. For 20 minutes we really talk, for the first time in years, the kind of conversation that peels away years of resentment without promising a clean slate. Later that night, my phone lights up with messages from Dad and Ethan. Chloe called, sobbing, accusing everyone of betrayal. Ethan emailed to say he refused to back Mom's version of events when she demanded he take the right side. 3 cousins reach out privately. An aunt, too, one by one. The web mom used to control the family begins to unravel. Dad mentions he's started financial counseling sessions. Rebecca texts a final update from her mother's bridge club. Your mom's stopped attending. Says she's not feeling well, but we both know it's the loss of her audience that's making her sick. I don't reply. I just stare at the message, letting the truth of it settle. The photographs Mom gave me now sit in a separate album titled The Past. I've added notes, context, and truth beside each one, a timeline annotated with self-respect. Next to it, a newer, thicker album titled The Future begins with photos from the engagement party. Every image shows me centered, shoulders back, eyes clear. A few weeks later, an ivory envelope rests on my desk. The wedding invitation. Simple, elegant, mine. No mention of mother of the bride. 6 weeks of planning without Mom's interference, and I've never felt lighter. My phone vibrates for the 3rd time in an hour. Holly, please call. My blood pressure is through the roof. The message glows against the screen. A manipulation disguised as illness, once that would have sent me running. Now I simply place the phone face down and return to the seating chart. Daniel appears in the doorway, his expression caught between concern and love. Your dad called, he says quietly. He says your mom's struggling. He thinks this might be her last chance to make memories with you, as her daughter. The guilt rises like old smoke, thick and familiar. I close my eyes, breathing through it. My therapist's voice echoes in my head. Count backward from 10. Let the guilt dissolve, not decide. When I open my eyes, my voice is calm. She's 58, perfectly healthy. She only gets sick when she needs attention. I give a small, wry smile. She's done this before. My graduation, my promotion, every milestone that wasn't about her. Daniel nods slowly. Understanding flickers there, the kind that comes from loving someone who's had to unlearn codependency. Later that night, his mother calls. Holly, dear, she begins gently. I ran into your mother today, purely by chance, of course. She's very upset, said she's being excluded from her only daughter's wedding. Is everything all right between you two? I explain carefully. Boundaries, not battles. No details about money, just truth about space and respect. By the time we hang up, she sounds cautious but supportive. Daniel sets his phone down across the kitchen table, sighing. She got to my parents. I nod. That's only the beginning, Chloe texted earlier. 3 of our photographers suddenly canceled, all on the same day. He frowns. That can't be coincidence. No, I agree quietly. It's war. The next morning, our venue coordinator calls. Her tone is apologetic but firm. There's been a major plumbing issue at the hall. We have to cancel all events for the next 3 months. Just like that, our venue is gone. Daniel handles the conversation with calm professionalism, asking about refunds, recommendations, logistics. I sit beside him, silent, heart sinking. When he hangs up, The only words I can manage are, my mother. He doesn't argue. He doesn't have to. The look in his eyes says he believes it too. That night I curl into a ball on the sofa while Daniel Meggs calls, his voice steady even as mine starts to crack. Maybe I should just let her help. I whisper, it would be easier. 20 minutes later, the door opens and Rebecca storms in, summoned by Daniel's SOS text. She drops onto the couch beside me, fiery and fierce. Absolutely not, she says. This is exactly why you stood up to them. The second you bend, they'll own your wedding, your life, everything again. She flips open her laptop. My client owns a vineyard outside Boulder, small, private, and free because their daughter's wedding was last weekend. You can have it. 3 days later, we stand on that very hillside. Rows of grapevines ripple under a golden sunset. A small stone building nestled against the slope, its red roof glowing in the light. It's perfect, I whisper, and for the first time in weeks, the tightness in my chest releases. My colleagues rally behind me, calling in favors and finding new vendors. Invitations go out again, each one handwritten with care. When I reach the envelopes for Mom and Chloe, I slip in a note card. You're welcome to attend our wedding under these conditions, respect my boundaries, cause no drama, attempt no control. These terms are non-negotiable. With love, Holly. The wedding day dawns radiant, a Colorado morning painted in gold. Sunshine spills across the vineyard hills, turning every grapevine into a thread of light. The air smells faintly of wildflowers and champagne. For once, I'm not bracing for disaster. I'm simply present. Dad walks me down the aisle, his steps steady, sure. His engineering job has given him back something that years of quiet guilt had taken: confidence, color, dignity. Beside the aisle, Grandma Eleanor beams like a lighthouse in navy silk, occupying the front. Row seat once meant for Mom. Mom and Chloe sit 3 rows back, perfectly composed, faces arranged in polite neutrality. Their expressions reveal nothing, and for the first time, I don't need them to. Daniel's parents greet me with genuine warmth before the ceremony begins. His mother whispers as she hugs me, "We're so proud to welcome you into our family." The ceremony itself feels like sunlight, simple, unpretentious, deeply true. I hold Daniel's hands and meet his steady eyes as he reads his vows. "Your strength has taught me what love really looks like," he says, voice unwavering. And in that moment, I believe him completely. When we're pronounced husband and wife, the vineyard erupts in applause. Somewhere behind the crowd, I catch Grandma wiping a tear, smiling through it. At the reception, I place a small table near the guest book, my quiet monument to the journey here. On it sits the glass award from last month's marketing gala, Creative Director of the Year. Next to it, tucked discreetly between the pages of our wedding album, rests a printed spreadsheet, 3 years of transactions, debts, and boundaries. Not as a weapon, but as a record of what it cost to get to this piece. During the father-daughter dance, Dad leans close, his whisper steady against the music. "I've never been prouder of you, Holly." The words land softly, heavy with sincerity. Later, near the dessert table, I find myself face with Mom. The candlelight softens her features, and for the first time she looks. "Small, human, I forgive you." I tell her quietly, but I won't forget. Her lips part, a protest forming, but I continue before she can speak. "My home and my finances are off limits now. That's not up for negotiation." Something flickers in her eyes, understanding, maybe even respect. "I was wrong about you," she says at last. It's not quite an apology, but it's the closest she's ever come. And for once, that's enough. The music shifts for the sister dance, a new tradition I created just for today. Chloe joins me hesitantly, mascara fresh, eyes unsure. Halfway through the song, she leans close, her voice almost lost in the melody. "I'm sorry," she whispers, "for everything." I nod, not absolving, not condemning, just acknowledging the truth of the moment. Healing has to start somewhere. Across the room, Dad laughs with Daniel's father, shoulders unburdened for the first time in years. Grandma sits beside Mom, their conversation visibly cautious but civil. The old power lines in our family, those invisible cords of control and guilt, have snapped, replaced by something uncertain but honest. And as I dance with my husband beneath strings of warm light, I realize I don't need revenge or triumph or even acknowledgement. The victory is quieter, the peace of having finally taken my life back. Not through shouting matches or slammed doors, but through the unshakable calm of boundaries drawn in love and defended with grace. 3 months later, the paint on our little brick bungalow still smells faintly new, the scent of beginnings. The walls are bare in places, the floors echo slightly when we walk, but somehow it already feels more like home than anywhere I've ever lived. Daniel wraps his arms around me from behind as I hang our MBA acceptance letter on the refrigerator, securing it with a magnet shaped like the Colorado state flag. Creative director by day, MBA student by night, he teases, pressing a kiss into my hair. How did I get so lucky? I laugh softly. You mean we got lucky. The industry newsletter on my laptop glows with a headline calling my promotion a weld is served rise for one of Denver's most innovative voices. Daniel's pride in me still catches me off guard. His love doesn't demand repayment. It never did. The doorbell rings, and I don't flinch, a small miracle in itself. Gone are the days of rehearsing my tone or bracing for confrontation. I open the door to find Dad standing there, bundled against the cold, holding a cardboard box that smells like cinnamon and butter. Made it myself, he says, offering it with a grin. Eliner supervised. His apple crisp homemade, not store-bought. It's become our little tradition. Saturday brunches where he and Grandma join us for coffee and stories. Sometimes Mom and Chloe come up, sometimes they don't. Either way, the air stays light. How's the financial planning course? I ask as he settles onto a stool at the kitchen island. He chuckles, scratching his beard. Turns out, I'm not half bad at budgeting once I actually try. Paying my own bills feels right. Should have done it decades ago. I smile, pouring him a mug of coffee. He looks for the quiet kind of freedom that comes when a person finally stops living in apology. That evening, snow drifts lazily outside, frosting the edges of our yard. I slip into the emerald green dress hanging in our closet. It's the same one Mom once said washed me out. Tonight, it catches the lamplight differently. Or maybe I just wear it differently now, not for approval, but for joy. Daniel watches from the doorway, admiration soft in his eyes. You look beautiful, he says. For once, I don't deflect. Thank you. I answer and mean it. Our first Christmas in this home feels nothing like the ones I grew up with. There's no tension, no impossible standards. Just cinnamon rolls for breakfast, presents opened slowly, and soft jazz playing under the crackle of the fireplace. When Dad arrives, I don't tense. I don't calculate. I simply open the door and smile. Merry Christmas, Holly. He hands me a small package wrapped in Sunday comics, his new signature style since learning to live on his own terms. Inside, I already know, will be something simple and thoughtful. Something real. The word no rolls off my tongue easily these days, 2 small letters that used to feel like betrayal. When Chloe calls asking for just a small loan, I say no kindly, without guilt, and hang up feeling lighter instead of cruel. In therapy last week, Dr. Patel, now a once-a-month check-in instead of a weekly necessity, smiled as I described my recent award. Did you notice, she said, you never once mentioned whether your family would be impressed. That truth hit me like sunlight through a window. Ethan called recently not to ask for help, but to ask about my latest campaign, genuinely curious. Chloe's found a second job to pay off her debts, and Mom, well, she's learning that respect is a language spoken only through consistency. Last Tuesday, Jessica, a junior copywriter from my team, lingered after our meeting. Her voice was small, hesitant. My parents expect me to fund my brother's startup, she admitted. I saw my younger self in her, tired, compliant, desperate to be good. So instead of giving her advice, I handed her the book that changed everything for me, Boundaries. Inside, I'd written a single line: some cycles deserve to be broken. The family scrapbook rests on our coffee table, the same one I once brought to my parents' house years ago, the one Mom pushed aside like it didn't matter. But this version isn't a plea for recognition anymore. It's a record of becoming. The first pages hold photos of our wedding, Daniel's hand in mine, Grandma's proud smile, Dad's laughter glowing in the background. The next few show our new home, the painted hallway, our first dinner party, my career milestones. The last photo, so far, captures Thanksgiving, me, Dad, and Grandma Eleanor at the table. All three of us smiling with a kind of ease I never thought possible. No stiff postures, no hidden tension, just real warmth. The rest of the pages wait blank, labeled in careful handwriting, future memories. When the Christmas Eve invitation goes out to Mom, it carries 3 clear conditions written at the bottom: respect, authenticity, boundaries. I half expect her to ignore them, to show up uninvited, or to find some way to twist them into another guilt trip. But she surprises me. She comes on time. She thanks us for hosting. She asks before giving advice. She even compliments Daniel's cooking genuinely, I think. Her tone is still cautious, like a person learning to speak a new language, but she's trying, and that's enough for now. At dinner, I catch her watching me as I laugh with Daniel and Dad. For the first time, I don't feel like that little girl seeking approval. I just feel like myself. And maybe she sees it too, because she doesn't interrupt, doesn't correct, doesn't compete. She simply observes, quiet in a way that almost feels like peace. After dinner, we take a family photo in front of the fireplace. This time, everyone stands in their rightful place, not because of obligation, but because they've earned it through honesty and effort. When I look at the photo later, something catches in my throat. It's not perfect, it's real. The power dynamic that once defined us is gone. No more unspoken debts, no more conditional love disguised as generosity. Just people learning how to meet each other on even ground. And as I close the scrapbook, I whisper the words that started it all. The bank of holly is closed. Only now, those words mean something deeper. They don't just mark the end of being used, they mark the beginning of living freely. The balance sheet of my life no longer tracks loans or emotional withdrawals. It counts something far more valuable: peace, dignity, self-worth. Because when you finally stop trying to buy love, you discover it's been waiting for you all along, in the quiet places where you choose yourself. Outside, snow begins to fall soft, steady, like the world erasing the old footprints to make way for new ones. Inside, laughter fills our home, not forced, not fragile, just genuine. And for the first time in my life, Christmas feels like what it should have been all along: warm, simple, free.